Tonight, we leave behind the noise of the modern world. The glow of screens fades away. The sound of traffic disappears into the distance. And together, we travel back to the year 1717, a time of wooden ships, endless oceans, and uncertain futures. Imagine for a moment that you are not sitting comfortably in your home. Instead, you are standing barefoot on a cold wooden dock in Boston Harbor. The morning air smells of salt and fish. A thin fog drifts across the water. The harbor is already alive. Dock workers shout as they move barrels. Sailors haul ropes onto waiting vessels. Seagulls circle overhead, crying endlessly. You are 19 years old. Your clothes are worn. Your boots have holes in them. Your hands are rough despite your young age. Life has never been easy. Your father was a fisherman. Your grandfather was a fisherman. The sea has always been part of your family. But now things are different. Fish are harder to find. Work is scarce. Money is even scarcer. Every day feels like a struggle just to survive. You watch wealthy merchants walk along the docks wearing fine coats. You watch ships arrive carrying sugar, tobacco, and goods from distant lands. Every barrel unloaded represents wealth. Every crate contains opportunities that seem forever out of reach. You dream of something more. Not riches, not glory, just a chance to build a better life, a chance to escape poverty, a chance to become someone. The opportunity arrives unexpectedly. A merchant vessel called the Providence is preparing for a voyage across the Atlantic. The ship's captain needs more crew. Several sailors abandon the voyage after a fight in a tavern. The ship is short-handed. They need workers immediately. You hesitate. Everyone knows the dangers: storms, disease, accidents, starvation. But staying here offers no future, so you step forward. The captain looks you over. He studies your thin frame, your worn clothes, your nervous expression. Finally he nods. "Can you climb a mast, boy?" You swallow hard. "No, sir." The captain laughs. "Then you'll learn." And just like that, your old life ends. The next morning you board the Providence. The ship seems enormous. Its towering masts stretch high into the sky. The sails hang folded like giant sleeping creatures. The deck smells of tar, rope, and seawater. Everything feels unfamiliar. Everything feels intimidating. You meet the other sailors. Some are young. Some are old. Most look exhausted. Many carry scars. A few are missing fingers. One man is missing an eye. Each scar tells a story. Each story reminds you of the risks ahead. As the sun rises higher, preparations begin. Ropes are secured. Supplies are loaded. Fresh water barrels disappear into the hold. The harbor grows busier. Then comes the moment. The captain gives the order. The ropes securing the ship to the dock are released. Sails unfurl. Wind fills the canvas. The Providence begins moving. Slowly at first, then steadily. Boston Harbor starts to fade behind you. The town becomes smaller. The people become tiny figures. Eventually, only the church steeples remain visible. Then even those disappear. You are officially at sea. The first few days are miserable. The ocean never stops moving. The deck rises and falls beneath your feet. Your stomach rebels. You spend hours leaning over the rail. The older sailors laugh. They have seen this before. They know every new sailor suffers. One grizzled sailor named Thomas pats your shoulder. "Don't worry, lad. You'll either get used to it, or you'll die," he laughs. You are not sure if he is joking. Life aboard the Providence quickly becomes routine. Every day begins before sunrise. The boatswain's whistle echoes through the ship. Sleep ends instantly. Work begins immediately. There is always work. Always. You scrub decks. You pull ropes. You climb rigging. You repair sails. You clean equipment. You carry supplies. There is never enough rest. The sea demands constant attention. One mistake can kill a man. A loose rope, a missed knot, a careless step. Any of these can mean death. Weeks pass. Your hands become tougher. Your muscles grow stronger. The work remains difficult, but you begin adapting. You learn the language of sailors. You learn how to read the wind. You learn which clouds bring storms. You learn how to move safely across a rolling deck. Most importantly, you learn patience. The ocean teaches patience better than any teacher. Days blend together. Sunrise, work, food, work, sleep, repeat, again, and again, and again. Sometimes nothing changes for weeks. The horizon remains empty. The sea remains endless. The boredom becomes almost unbearable. Yet there are moments of beauty. At night, the stars seem brighter than anything you have ever seen. The Milky Way stretches across the sky. Sometimes dolphins swim alongside the ship. Sometimes flying fish leap across the waves. Occasionally whales appear in the distance. Those moments remind you why sailors continue returning to the sea. The ocean is cruel, but it is also magnificent. One evening, Thomas sits beside you on the deck. The sun is setting. The sky glows orange and gold. For a while, neither of you speaks. Finally, he breaks the silence. Do you know what keeps men sailing? You think for a moment. Money? Thomas laughs. No, hope. He points toward the horizon. Every sailor believes something better waits over there. You follow his finger. The horizon looks exactly the same as always. Endless. Mysterious. Impossible to reach. Yet somehow you understand. Hope is powerful. Without it, nobody would leave shore. Without it, nobody would endure the hardships of the sea. Without it, civilizations would never explore beyond their own borders. Weeks become months. You become a real sailor, not because someone gives you a title, not because someone tells you, but because the sea slowly transforms you. You stand straighter. You work harder. You complain less. You begin earning the respect of the crew. For the first time in your life, you feel useful, valuable, capable. Yet unknown dangers are approaching, far beyond the horizon, far beyond anything you can currently imagine. A storm is coming. Not merely a storm of wind and rain, but a storm that will change your entire life. A storm that will place you on a path toward adventure, toward danger, toward fortune, and toward the black flag. But that story belongs to another night. For now, listen to the gentle creaking of the ship. Listen to the waves against the hull. Feel the cool Atlantic breeze, and drift peacefully into sleep. Tonight, our journey continues. The year is still 1717. The Atlantic Ocean stretches endlessly around you. The ship Providence cuts steadily through dark blue water, carrying cargo, dreams, and weary men toward distant shores. You have now spent several months at sea. The excitement of leaving Boston has long faded. Adventure, you have discovered, rarely looks like the stories told in taverns. Most days are not filled with heroism. Most days are filled with work, endless work. You wake before dawn to the sound of the boatswain's whistle. The sky is still black. The stars still shine overhead. But your day has already begun. You crawl from your hammock. Your back aches. Your hands ache. Your shoulders ache. Every part of your body reminds you that life at sea demands a price. The deck is cold beneath your boots. The air carries the sharp smell of salt. Around you, dozens of sailors prepare for another day. Nobody speaks much. Everyone is tired. Everyone knows what awaits. More labor, more ropes, more sails, more endless ocean. You are assigned to the morning watch. Together with several other sailors, you move across the deck, adjusting lines and checking equipment. Every rope has a purpose. Every knot matters. A mistake can damage the ship. A bigger mistake can kill someone. The sea is unforgiving. It rewards skill. It punishes carelessness. As the sun slowly rises, golden light spreads across the horizon. For a brief moment, the ocean becomes beautiful beyond description. The water glitters like liquid gold. The sails glow softly in the morning light. Even the oldest sailors pause to admire it. Then the moment passes. Work resumes. By midday, the heat becomes intense. The sun beats down upon the deck. Sweat soaks your clothes. Your skin burns despite weeks of exposure. Fresh water is precious. Nobody wastes it. You learn to ignore thirst. You learn to ignore discomfort. You learn to keep working. That is what sailors do. One afternoon, Thomas finds you sitting near a coil of rope. You are eating hardtack. The biscuit is hard as stone. Tiny insects crawl inside it. At first, this disgusted you. Now you barely notice. Thomas laughs. "Look at you! What? You ate the weevils without complaining!" You shrug. "I'm hungry." "Exactly." He smiles. "Now you're becoming a sailor." The food never improves. Hardtack, salted beef, dried peas, occasionally oatmeal. That is your world. Fresh fruit is rare. Fresh vegetables are rarer. Weeks pass without seeing either. The older sailors talk constantly about food, not because they are greedy, because they miss it. Real bread, fresh fish, warm stew, roasted meat. Simple meals become treasured memories. At night, men lie in their hammocks, discussing food the way wealthy merchants discuss money. One sailor describes his mother's apple pie. Another remembers roasted duck. Another dreams about hot bread fresh from an oven. The conversations continue for hours. Hunger has a way of turning memories into treasures. Yet food is not your greatest concern. Disease stalks every ship. You see it firsthand when a sailor named Edward becomes ill. At first it seems minor. A cough, a fever, nothing unusual. But within days he can barely stand. His face becomes pale. His body weakens. The ship has no doctor, only basic medicines. The captain does what he can. The crew does what they can. But the ocean offers little mercy. One morning Edward does not wake up. The crew gathers quietly. No speeches are given. No prayers last long. At sea, death is familiar. The body is wrapped in canvas, weighted with stones. The captain says a few words. Then the body slips into the water. The ocean accepts another sailor. The ship continues forward. There is no time to stop. No place to bury the dead. The sea becomes their graveyard. That night you cannot sleep. The image stays with you. You realize something important. Every sailor aboard understands a simple truth. Any voyage could be their last. A storm, a disease, a fall from the rigging, a battle. Death waits everywhere, yet somehow men continue sailing. Perhaps because they have no choice. Perhaps because they hope for something better. Or perhaps because once the ocean enters your soul, ordinary life ashore no longer feels enough. Weeks later, the weather changes. Dark clouds gather. The wind strengthens. Experienced sailors exchange nervous glances. You notice immediately. Something feels wrong. The sea itself seems restless. The captain studies the horizon through his spyglass. His expression grows serious. Orders are given. Sails are adjusted. Equipment is secured. Every loose object is tied down. The crew moves quickly. Nobody asks questions. Nobody needs to. A storm is coming. By sunset, the sky has turned nearly black. Thunder rolls across the horizon. Lightning flashes within towering clouds. The ocean rises and falls more violently with every passing hour. Fear spreads silently through the crew. You have experienced rough weather before. This feels different, much different. Night arrives. Then the storm strikes. The first wave crashes across the deck like a living wall. Water explodes over the ship. Men grab ropes. Barrels shift. The vessel groans beneath the force. The wind screams through the rigging. Rain lashes your face. Visibility disappears. The world becomes darkness, water, and noise. Hours pass, or perhaps minutes. Time loses meaning. Every moment feels endless. The ship climbs enormous waves, then plunges downward. Again, and again, and again. Each impact shakes the vessel. Each impact threatens disaster. You cling desperately to a rope. Your hands bleed. Your muscles burn. Still, you refuse to let go. Around you, sailors fight to keep the ship alive. Some pump water. Some manage sails. Some secure equipment. Everyone works. Everyone struggles. Everyone fears the same thing, that the next wave might be the last. At the height of the storm, lightning illuminates the ocean. For a single terrifying second, you see waves larger than buildings. Mountains of water, moving, living, hungry. Then darkness returns. The storm continues, hour after hour. The ocean tests every plank, every rope, every sailor. Near dawn, the worst finally passes. The wind weakens. The rain slows. The waves become smaller. Exhausted men collapse where they stand. Nobody celebrates. Nobody cheers. They are simply grateful to still be alive. The captain surveys the damage. Several sails are ruined. A mast is cracked. Supplies have been lost. But the ship survived. And so did you. As the sun rises over the battered ocean, Thomas sits beside you once again. Neither of you speaks for several minutes. Finally, he says quietly, "Now you've truly seen the sea." You stare at the horizon. The storm clouds are disappearing. The water glows beneath morning light. It looks peaceful again, as though nothing happened, as though it never tried to kill you. You understand then why sailors both love and fear the ocean. It provides opportunity. It provides freedom. But it demands respect. Always. You think the storm is the greatest challenge you will face. You are wrong. Far to the south, beyond the horizon, another ship sails through the Caribbean, a faster ship, a more dangerous ship. A ship flying no flag. Its crew watches the sea lanes carefully, searching, waiting, hunting. And before long, its path will cross yours. The storm has changed your ship, but soon, something far more dangerous will change your life. For another story is approaching, a story carried on black sails, a story whispered about in every port, a story of pirates. And before this voyage ends, you will meet them. But that tale belongs to the next chapter. For now, let the sound of distant waves surround you. Let the ship rock gently beneath the stars, and drift peacefully into sleep. Tonight, the Atlantic Ocean is calm. The terrible storm that nearly destroyed the Providence is now only a memory. The ship still bears its scars. Several sails have been repaired. The deck has been patched. The crew moves more carefully than before. Everyone survived. But something has changed. After facing death together, the men seem different. Quieter. More thoughtful. More aware of how fragile life can be. You feel it too. Only a few months ago, you were a poor young man standing on a dock in Boston Harbor. Now you have crossed vast oceans. You have survived storms. You have watched a man buried at sea. The ocean is shaping you into someone new. Yet your greatest test still lies ahead. The Providence continues south, day after day, week after week. The weather grows warmer. The water changes color. The deep steel blue Atlantic slowly becomes a brilliant turquoise. Flying fish dart across the waves. Distant islands occasionally appear on the horizon. Palm trees sway above white beaches. For many sailors, the Caribbean feels like paradise. For others, it feels like danger, because these waters belong to more than merchants. They belong to pirates. You hear stories every night, stories told in whispers, stories passed from sailor to sailor. Some are clearly exaggerated. Others sound frighteningly real. One sailor claims a pirate captain once captured an entire convoy without firing a shot. Another swears he saw a pirate ship disappear into a fog bank and never emerge. Thomas laughs at many of these tales, but even he grows serious when pirates are mentioned. One evening you ask him directly, "Have you ever seen one?" Thomas stares toward the horizon. For a long moment he says nothing. Then he nods. "Twice. What happened? The first time they took our cargo, and the second? They took the ship." You wait for him to continue. He doesn't. The silence tells you enough. A pirate encounter is not something sailors enjoy remembering. Days pass. The Providence approaches one of the busiest trade routes in the Caribbean. Merchant ships travel constantly through these waters. Sugar, tobacco, rum, cotton, gold. Every vessel carries wealth, and where wealth travels, predators follow. One morning you are assigned lookout duty. You climb into the crow's nest before sunrise. The sea stretches endlessly around you. The world is peaceful, almost too peaceful. Hours pass. Nothing appears. Then something catches your eye, far to the east. A sail, tiny, barely visible. You squint. The vessel seems small, fast, moving with unusual purpose. At first you think nothing of it. Ships pass each other regularly. Still, something feels strange. You report the sighting. The captain studies it through his spyglass. His expression hardens. Immediately he orders more observations. Throughout the day the unknown ship remains visible, and slowly, very slowly, it grows larger. By afternoon everyone has noticed. The conversations become quieter. The crew watches the horizon nervously. The captain watches even more closely. The vessel is approaching directly, not crossing paths, not changing course, approaching. As evening arrives, Thomas joins you at the rail. Neither of you looks away from the distant ship. "Do you think it's them?" you ask. Thomas doesn't answer immediately. Finally he says, "I hope not. That is all. But it is enough." Night falls. The ship disappears into darkness. Yet nobody sleeps well. Every sailor knows it is still out there. Somewhere. Moving through the night. Getting closer. Morning arrives. The unknown vessel is immediately visible. Much closer now. Too close. Through a spyglass you can finally make out details. It is a sloop. Small. Fast. Lightly built. Exactly the type of vessel favored by pirates. Yet no flag flies from its mast. Not English. Not Spanish. Not French. Nothing. A ship without a nation. A ship without an identity. The captain's concern becomes obvious. Orders echo across the deck. The crew prepares for possible trouble. Weapons are brought out. Muskets inspected. Powder checked. Pistols loaded. You have never held a loaded weapon before. The weight feels strange, unnatural. Heavy with possibility. Heavy with danger. The day grows hotter. The mysterious ship continues closing the distance. No signal flags. No communication. No explanation. Just silent pursuit. By midday the tension becomes unbearable. Then it happens. A flash of white smoke appears near the unknown vessel. A moment later comes a distant boom. Every sailor freezes. The sound is unmistakable. A cannon. The shot lands harmlessly in the sea. far ahead of the Providence. Not an attack, a warning. Silence spreads across the deck. Nobody needs to ask what it means. The message is clear. Stop, or else. The captain lowers his spyglass. His face has become pale. You realize something terrifying. He already knows. This is not uncertainty anymore. This is confirmation. The ship with no flag is a pirate vessel. The crew reacts immediately. Fear moves through the ship like electricity. Some sailors pray, others curse. Several stare silently at the approaching vessel. The pirate ship closes steadily, confidently, patiently, like a wolf approaching wounded prey. Soon details become visible. You can see men moving across its deck. Far more men than a normal merchant ship would carry. Many appear armed. All seem calm, experienced, dangerous. Then comes the moment every sailor fears. The pirate vessel raises a flag, a black flag. It unfurls in the wind. Even at this distance, the meaning is unmistakable. Death, threat, piracy. A symbol recognized across the oceans of the world. You feel your stomach tighten. Around you, dozens of hardened sailors react exactly the same way. Fear does not care about experience. Fear visits everyone. The pirate ship continues forward, the black flag snapping proudly above it. The captain of the Providence gathers his officers. A tense discussion follows. Should they run? Fight? Surrender? None of the options are good. The Providence is heavily loaded with cargo. It cannot outrun a fast sloop. Its crew is smaller. Its guns are fewer. A battle would be costly, perhaps fatal. The debate lasts only minutes. Finally, the captain makes his decision. The order spreads across the ship. Prepare to surrender. No cheers greet the announcement. No relief, only resignation. Everyone understands. Cargo can be replaced. Lives cannot. Slowly the colors of the Providence are lowered. The merchant ship submits. The pirate vessel approaches. Closer, 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 until finally it glides alongside. You see the pirates clearly for the first time. They are not monsters, not demons, not the creatures from tavern stories. They are sailors, weathered faces, scarred hands, sunburned skin, men shaped by the same sea. Yet something about them feels different. There is confidence in the way they move, freedom in their posture, a strange sense of independence. You cannot explain it, but you notice it immediately. Grappling hooks fly through the air. Iron bites into wood. The two ships are pulled together. The moment has arrived. Pirates begin climbing aboard. Your heart pounds. Your hands tremble. You expect violence, chaos, bloodshed. Instead, something unexpected happens. The first pirate to step onto the deck smiles, not cruelly, not angrily, almost casually, as though boarding merchant ships is simply another day's work. Perhaps for him, it is. Soon dozens of pirates stand aboard the Providence. They secure weapons, control the crew, inspect the cargo. Yet no unnecessary violence occurs. The operation is organized, professional, efficient. Then one man steps forward, not the captain, someone else. A broad-shouldered man with calm eyes and a weathered face, the quartermaster. And the words he speaks next will change your life forever, because before this day ends, you will be offered a choice between your old life and a completely new future, a choice that will determine everything that follows, a choice beneath the black flag. But that story belongs to the next chapter. For now, listen to the gentle sound of waves against wood, feel the warm Caribbean breeze, and drift peacefully into sleep. The warm Caribbean wind moves gently across the sea. Two ships sit side by side upon the water. One is the merchant vessel Providence. The other is the mysterious pirate sloop that emerged from the horizon beneath a black flag. Only moments ago, you expected violence. You expected bloodshed. You expected terror. Instead, you find yourself standing among a group of surprisingly calm pirates. The crew of the Providence remains gathered near the center of the deck. Weapons have been surrendered. No one resists. The pirate quartermaster studies the assembled sailors carefully. His face is weathered by years beneath the sun. A scar crosses one cheek. His beard is streaked with gray. Yet his eyes are calm, intelligent, observant. The deck grows quiet. Even the ocean seems to hold its breath. Finally, the quartermaster begins speaking. His voice is steady, confident. You men have nothing to fear. The statement surprises everyone. Several sailors exchange uncertain glances. The quartermaster continues. We came for cargo, not for sailors. A few pirates nearby nod in agreement. The quartermaster walks slowly before the gathered crew. You have worked hard for this, Captain. He gestures toward the officers. You have crossed oceans. You have survived storms. You have risked your lives. And what do you have to show for it? No one answers. The silence speaks loudly enough. The quartermaster smiles slightly. Exactly. He points toward the merchant officers. They grow wealthy. You grow tired. Several sailors lower their eyes. Because everyone knows he speaks the truth, the quartermaster stops walking. Then he delivers the words that will change everything. Any man who wishes may join us. A murmur spreads through the crew. The offer seems impossible. Join pirates? Leave everything behind? Become an outlaw? The quartermaster raises his hand. The murmuring stops. No man will be forced. You may remain with your ship. You may continue your voyage. Or, he pauses, you may become free. The word hangs in the air. Free. Not wealthy. Not powerful. Free. The simplicity of it makes the offer even more tempting. You look around. Some sailors appear horrified. Others appear thoughtful. A few seem genuinely interested. Your own heart begins beating faster. You think about Boston, about poverty, about endless labor, about months at sea for wages you may never fully receive. Then you look at the pirates. They seem different, not because they are richer, not because they are stronger, because they appear to own their own lives. The idea is dangerous. The idea is tempting. The quartermaster waits patiently. No pressure, no threats, only a choice. A real choice, something many sailors rarely experience. Minutes pass. Finally, one sailor steps forward, a young man, perhaps only a year older than you. The pirates grin. Another sailor follows, then another. The number slowly grows. You remain where you stand, uncertain. Thomas notices. He moves beside you. What are you thinking? You hesitate, then answer honestly. I don't know. Thomas nods. Neither does he. The older sailor stares toward the pirate ship. For a moment he looks strangely sad. Then he sighs. You know what the funny part is? What? They're right. You blink. What do you mean? Thomas laughs quietly. We work ourselves half to death. We survive storms. We risk everything. And most of us stay poor. He shrugs. The pirates aren't lying about that. The words settle heavily in your mind. You watch more sailors cross over. Each step seems to make the decision harder. Stay? Or go? Remain a merchant sailor? Or become something else entirely? Your thoughts race. You think about the storm. You think about Edward's burial at sea. You think about the endless hardtack, the endless labor, the endless uncertainty. Then you think about the future. Another voyage. Then another. Then another. Years passing. Nothing changing. Suddenly the future feels visible, and it does not look appealing. The quartermaster notices you watching. Their eyes meet. He says nothing. He simply waits. The choice must be yours. At last, you take a deep breath and step forward. The moment feels unreal, as though you are watching someone else move. Several pirates smile. One nods approvingly. Behind you, Thomas laughs softly. I thought you might. You turn toward him. Aren't you coming? The old sailor smiles. Too old for new adventures. For a moment, neither of you speaks. Then he extends his hand. You shake it. Goodbye. A simple gesture, yet somehow it feels important. The pirate quartermaster gestures toward the sloop. Welcome aboard. You cross between the ships. Each step carries you farther from your old life, farther from Boston, farther from certainty, closer to something unknown. When your boots touch the pirate deck, a cheer rises from several crewmen. Someone hands you a tin cup. Inside is rum, real rum, not watered-down grog. You take a cautious sip. The liquid burns. The pirates laugh. One claps you on the shoulder. Another welcomes you. For the first time, you begin meeting your new shipmates. They come from everywhere. England, Scotland, Ireland, France, Africa, the Caribbean, men from different nations, different backgrounds, different stories. Yet somehow they function as a single crew. You notice something else. No one bows to the captain. No officer screams orders. No boatswain threatens punishment. The atmosphere feels completely different from the merchant ship. More relaxed, more equal, more dangerous perhaps, but also strangely fair. Soon the quartermaster gathers all the new recruits. You and 7 others stand together. The pirate crew forms a circle around you. Then the quartermaster produces a worn parchment. Its edges are stained by salt and age. This, he says, is our agreement, the pirate articles, the code, the rules that govern life aboard the ship. The quartermaster begins reading aloud. Every man receives a vote. Every man receives a share. No theft from fellow crewmen. No unnecessary fighting aboard ship. Weapons must remain clean and ready. Disputes must be settled fairly. Compensation is paid for injuries. The more you listen, the stranger it seems. This is piracy? You expected chaos. You expected lawlessness. Instead, you hear rules. Organization. Responsibility. The quartermaster notices your expression. He smiles. We are outlaws, but we are not fools. Laughter spreads through the crew. The reading continues. When it ends, the parchment is placed atop a barrel. One by one, the new recruits step forward. Each signs or marks the document. A commitment, a promise, a contract. When your turn arrives, your hand hesitates. The quill feels surprisingly heavy. You understand what this means. There is no turning back. If captured, you will not be treated as a merchant sailor. You will be treated as a pirate, an enemy of every nation, a criminal, a hunted man. The risk is enormous, yet so is the opportunity. Slowly you place your mark upon the parchment. The crew erupts into cheers. The quartermaster extends his hand. You shake it. At that moment, your old life officially ends. You are no longer a merchant sailor. You are now a pirate. The realization feels strange, exciting, terrifying, liberating, all at once. As evening arrives, the captured cargo is transferred. The Providence prepares to continue its voyage. You watch from the pirate ship as your former vessel slowly pulls away. Smaller, 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 until it becomes only a distant shape against the horizon. Then it disappears completely. Gone. The sight creates an unexpected feeling. Not regret, not fear. Something else. A sense that a door has closed forever. Behind you, laughter rises from the pirate crew. Ahead lies an uncertain future. You turn away from the fading horizon and toward your new home. A fast, black-hulled sloop named the Raven. A ship that will carry you toward fortune, toward danger, toward battles, toward legends, and perhaps toward your doom. But those stories belong to future nights. For now, you stand beneath the stars, a new pirate beneath a black flag, and your real adventure has finally begun. Tonight, the warm Caribbean breeze drifts across the deck of the Raven. The stars shine brilliantly overhead. The sea glows softly beneath the moonlight. And for the first time in your life, you fall asleep, not as a merchant sailor, but as a pirate. The realization still feels strange. Only a few days ago you were hauling cargo aboard the Providence. Now you sleep in a hammock surrounded by men wanted by every major empire in the world. Yet surprisingly, you feel safer than you expected. Not because piracy is safe. It isn't. Far from it. But because there is something different about this crew. Something you cannot quite explain. The next morning begins before sunrise. Old habits remain. You expect a boatswain's whistle. You expect shouting. You expect threats. Instead, you wake to the sounds of sailors already beginning their work. The atmosphere feels different. No one is screaming. No one is being beaten. No one appears terrified of making mistakes. Yet everyone is working. The ship runs efficiently, almost effortlessly. You climb from your hammock and join the others on deck. The quartermaster notices you. Sleep well? A little, he laughs. You'll get used to it. You glance around the vessel. Now that you are no longer a prisoner or visitor, you can finally examine your new home properly. The Raven is smaller than the Providence, but it feels faster, lighter, more alive. Every part of the ship has been modified for speed and combat. Extra cannons line the deck. Unnecessary cargo space has been removed. The crew moves confidently through every corner of the vessel. This is not a merchant ship. This is a predator. As the days pass, you begin learning the routines of pirate life. To your surprise, much of the work is familiar. You still adjust sails. You still repair ropes. You still scrub decks. You still stand watch. A ship requires constant maintenance regardless of who owns it. The difference is not the work. The difference is why you work. On the Providence, you labored for someone else's profit. On the Raven, every successful voyage benefits everyone aboard. Every sailor has a stake in the ship's success. That simple fact changes everything. One afternoon you witness something remarkable. Two sailors argue over a card game. Their voices grow louder. Insults are exchanged. On a merchant ship, such behavior might earn a flogging. Here, the quartermaster simply steps between them. He listens carefully, allows each man to speak, then delivers a decision. The sailors accept it immediately. The argument ends. No violence, no punishment, no cruelty. The system works because everyone agreed to it. That evening, you ask an older pirate named Samuel about the crew. Samuel has been sailing for nearly 20 years. His face is weathered by wind and sunlight. A long scar crosses one hand. He notices your curiosity. "You still don't understand us, do you? What do you mean?" Samuel smiles. "You think we're criminals, aren't you?" The old pirate laughs loudly. "Oh, we are." Several nearby sailors laugh as well. Then Samuel leans closer. "But that's not the whole story. You wait. We're also survivors." The laughter fades. Samuel points toward the sea. "Most men here escape something. Poverty, the Navy, bad captains, Terrible lives, he shrugs. Some joined for gold, some joined for freedom, most joined for both. The answer makes sense. The pirates are not one thing. They are many things. Dreamers, criminals, sailors, outcasts, adventurers. Each carries a different reason for choosing this life. As weeks pass, you begin learning their stories. One man escaped forced service in the Royal Navy. Another fled crushing debt in London. Another survived a plantation in the Caribbean. Some stories are tragic. Others are inspiring. All of them are human. You realize that pirates are not the monsters described in government proclamations, nor are they heroes. They are simply people, complicated people, people making difficult choices in a difficult world. Several weeks later, the crew reaches Nassau, the legendary pirate haven, the unofficial capital of the Pirate Republic. As the Raven approaches harbor, you stand near the rail and stare in amazement. The settlement sprawls across the shoreline. Wooden buildings, canvas tents, taverns, warehouses, docks crowded with ships from every corner of the Atlantic. The harbor is alive with activity. Dozens of vessels sit at anchor. Merchant ships, fishing boats, privateers, pirate sloops. Some fly flags, others do not. Smoke rises from cooking fires. Music drifts across the water. Laughter echoes between buildings. The place feels less like a colony and more like another world. As soon as the anchor drops, excitement spreads through the crew. Shore leave. The two most beautiful words a sailor can hear. Longboats carry men toward land. The closer you get, the louder Nassau becomes. The smell reaches you first. Roasting meat, tobacco smoke, rum, salt air, wood fires. The scents blend into something unforgettable. When your boots touch solid ground, the sensation feels almost strange. After weeks at sea, the earth itself seems unstable. Many sailors stumble slightly. The pirates laugh. Everyone experiences it. Soon you follow your shipmates into town. The streets are crowded. Merchants shout from stalls. Musicians play lively tunes. Gamblers gather around makeshift tables. Sailors from dozens of nations fill every tavern. The entire settlement buzzes with energy. And unlike most colonial ports, there is very little authority. No soldiers patrol the streets. No governor watches from a grand office. No Navy warships dominate the harbor. Nassau belongs to pirates, at least for now. That evening you enter your first pirate tavern. The noise is overwhelming. Music, laughter, arguments, songs. The room vibrates with life. A fiddler plays near the fireplace. Men dance. Others gamble. Several celebrate recent victories. Rum flows freely. Stories grow more outrageous with every drink. You sit quietly and observe, listening, learning, absorbing everything. Eventually Samuel joins you. He places a mug of rum before you. Welcome to Nassau. You take a cautious sip. The drink burns. Samuel grins. Careful. Many fortunes have disappeared in this town. You glance around. He isn't exaggerating. Pirates spend money almost as quickly as they earn it. New clothes, weapons, food, drink, games of chance. The philosophy is simple. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. Enjoy today. That night you walk through Nassau beneath a sky filled with stars. Music drifts from taverns. Lanterns glow softly along the streets. For a moment the world feels almost peaceful. Yet beneath the celebration lies something else, something darker. Because every pirate in Nassau understands a simple truth. This freedom will not last forever. The empires of Europe are watching. The Royal Navy is watching. Governors are watching. Merchant companies are watching. The Pirate Republic has made many enemies, powerful enemies. Sooner or later, those enemies will come. Warships, soldiers, pirate hunters. The Golden Age cannot last forever. But for now, None of that matters. For now, Nassau remains free. For now, the Raven remains undefeated. For now, you are young, healthy, and standing at the beginning of an extraordinary journey. A journey that will soon lead you toward treasure ships, naval battles, and fortunes greater than anything you have ever imagined. But those stories belong to the next chapter. For now, enjoy the warm Caribbean night. Listen to the distant music. Watch the lanterns flicker beside the harbor, and drift peacefully into sleep. The warm winds of the Caribbean sweep across the harbor of Nassau. Lanterns flicker along the shoreline. Music drifts from crowded taverns, and somewhere in the darkness, a bell rings across the water. Your short time on land is ending. The Raven is preparing to sail once more. A week has passed since arriving in Nassau. For 7 glorious days, the crew has enjoyed every luxury they could afford. Fresh bread, roasted pork, strong rum, warm beds, loud music, laughter, freedom. Now, however, reality returns. A pirate's fortune only lasts as long as the coins in his pocket, and many pockets are already empty. Before dawn, the quartermaster walks through the harbor gathering the crew. Some arrive cheerful, some arrive hungover, some arrive barely awake, but all arrive, because everyone understands the simple truth. No prizes, no pay. The sea is calling again. The Raven leaves Nassau with the rising sun. The harbor slowly disappears behind you. Ahead stretches the endless Caribbean. Blue skies, blue water, endless possibility. And somewhere beyond the horizon, wealth. The mood aboard ship feels different now. You are no longer the newest recruit. Weeks have passed. You know the routines. You know the crew. You know how the ship functions. Most importantly, you now understand why pirates can endure such hardship. Hope. Not hope for survival. Not hope for safety. Hope for opportunity. Every sail on the horizon could mean fortune. Every voyage could change your life. For several days, nothing happens. The Raven glides through calm seas. The crew maintains the ship, repairs equipment, cleans weapons, tells stories, plays cards. Life settles into its familiar rhythm. Then one afternoon, everything changes. The cry comes from above. "Sail ho!" Instantly the ship awakens. Men leap to their feet. Conversations stop. Card games end. Every eye turns toward the horizon. The captain emerges from his cabin, spyglass in hand. You climb into the rigging for a better view. Far in the distance, a sail. Small, white, moving steadily westward. The captain studies it carefully. Minutes pass. Finally he smiles. A rare sight. The crew notices immediately. Excitement spreads. The captain lowers his spyglass. "Merchantman." The announcement triggers cheers. Not because the ship belongs to an enemy. Not because violence is coming. Because opportunity has appeared. The hunt begins. The Raven changes course. Its sails catch the wind. The ship accelerates. Hour after hour, the distance slowly closes. The merchant vessel appears unaware. It continues peacefully along its route. Perhaps its crew believes they are safe. Perhaps they have never encountered pirates. Perhaps they simply have not noticed the danger approaching. As sunset approaches, the captain calls the crew together. You stand among dozens of armed sailors. The mood is serious, focused, professional. The captain speaks calmly. "We take the cargo. No unnecessary bloodshed. No foolish risks." Several crewmen nod. The instructions are familiar. A dead merchant cannot carry future cargo. A damaged ship cannot be sold. A wounded pirate cannot help earn future prizes. Violence is expensive. Fear is cheaper. The goal is always surrender, not slaughter. As darkness falls, the Raven closes further. The merchant ship remains unaware. Its lanterns glow softly against the night. The chase continues until dawn. Then morning arrives, and everything changes. The merchant crew finally notices their pursuer. You can almost feel their confusion, then concern, then fear. The Raven raises a false flag, a common trick. From a distance you appear harmless, friendly, ordinary. The merchant captain relaxes, only briefly, because the pirates wait until the perfect moment, when the distance becomes impossible to escape, when the merchant ship can no longer outrun them. Then the captain gives the signal. The false flag comes down. For a few seconds the mast stands bare. The sea breeze snaps against empty ropes. Then another flag rises. Black, silent, terrifying. The Jolly Roger. A murmur spreads across the merchant deck. Even from this distance you can sense it. Fear, pure fear. The flag carries a message understood throughout the world. Surrender, or suffer the consequences. The merchant captain hesitates. Everyone watches. Minutes feel like hours. Then at last, the merchant colors are lowered. Cheers erupt aboard the Raven. No battle, no deaths, no bloodshed. The perfect outcome. The pirate ship moves alongside. Boarding parties cross over. You join them. This time, however, everything feels different. You are not a frightened merchant sailor. You are one of the pirates. The realization surprises you. Yet there is little time to think. Work begins immediately. The quartermaster takes charge. Cargo is inspected. Inventories are recorded. Valuable goods are identified. You descend into the merchant ship's hold. Your eyes widen. Barrels, crates, bundles, stacks upon stacks of cargo, sugar, coffee, tobacco, cloth, the true treasure of the Atlantic world. Not gold, not jewels, trade goods, the commodities that connect continents, the wealth that built empires. Above deck, the process continues efficiently. The pirates work quickly, professionally. No chaos, no wild looting. Everything belongs to the company. Everything will be divided fairly later. By sunset, the operation is complete. The merchant captain remains shaken but unharmed. His crew remains alive. The cargo is gone. The prize belongs to the Raven. As the merchant vessel sails away, you notice something unexpected. Relief. On both ships. The merchant survived. The pirates succeeded. No one died. For all the fearsome reputation of piracy, this is often the preferred outcome. Profit without bloodshed. That evening the crew celebrates. Not wildly. Not yet. The cargo must still be sold. The profits must still be counted. But optimism fills the ship. The voyage has been successful, and this may only be the beginning. Weeks later, after additional captures and careful trading through pirate contacts, the day finally arrives. The day every sailor awaits. Payday. The entire crew gathers on deck. The quartermaster stands before them. A heavy chest sits nearby. Inside lies the converted value of the captured cargo. Silver, gold, Spanish pieces of 8, the accumulated rewards of months at sea. One by one, names are called. Shares are distributed according to the articles. Fairly, openly, without argument. When your turn comes, you step forward. The quartermaster places a heavy cloth pouch into your hands. The weight surprises you. For a moment you simply stare. This is more money than you have ever possessed, more than years of honest labor might have earned. The realization leaves you speechless. You return to your place among the crew. Several pirates grin knowingly. They remember their first real share. The feeling never completely disappears. That night, beneath a sky filled with stars, You sit alone near the stern. The pouch rests beside you. The ocean glimmers softly in the moonlight. For the first time, the promise that brought you beneath the black flag feels real. Not merely freedom, not merely survival, opportunity. Yet somewhere deep inside, another thought emerges. If fortune can arrive so quickly, it can disappear just as quickly. The sea gives, the sea takes. Every pirate knows this truth, and soon you will learn it as well, because greater prizes await. Greater dangers, greater enemies. Warships now patrol the Caribbean. Pirate hunters grow more numerous. The age of easy riches is beginning to change. A storm far more dangerous than wind and rain is gathering on the horizon, and before long the Raven will sail directly into it. But that story belongs to the next chapter. For now, listen to the quiet ocean, feel the warm night air, watch the stars reflected upon the sea, and drift peacefully into sleep. The stars shine brightly above the Caribbean. The Raven cuts silently through black water. Your share of silver rests safely inside a small wooden chest beneath your hammock. For the first time in your life, you possess real wealth. And yet, you cannot shake a strange feeling, a feeling that fortune never lasts forever. As the days pass, that feeling slowly grows. The crew notices it too. Merchant ships seem harder to find. Naval patrols appear more frequently. Rumors spread from ship to ship. Rumors of change. Rumors of war. Rumors of pirate hunters. One evening, while sharing a meal of salted pork and hard bread, an old sailor named Briggs sits beside you. His face is deeply weathered by years at sea. Scars cross his hands. His eyes seem older than the ocean itself. He lowers his voice. The golden days are ending. Several nearby pirates fall silent. You listen carefully. Briggs continues. Kings don't like losing money. They tolerated us while they were busy fighting each other. But now the wars are ending, and we're becoming the problem. Nobody argues, because everyone knows he is right. For years, pirates thrived, partly because governments were distracted. European nations constantly fought wars. Privateers attacked enemy shipping. Smugglers crossed oceans. The lines between legal and illegal often blurred. Now things are changing. Governments want control again. Trade routes must be protected. Profits must be secured. Pirates must be eliminated. The next morning, the captain calls a meeting. The crew gathers on deck. The wind tugs at clothing and hair. The captain speaks plainly. There are more naval patrols now. We sail carefully. We avoid unnecessary fights. We stay alive. The crew nods. A merchant ship fears pirates, but pirates fear warships. A merchant vessel carries cargo. A naval vessel carries cannons, many cannons, and trained soldiers. The difference can mean life or death. A week later, that danger becomes real. You are standing lookout duty high in the rigging. The ocean stretches endlessly around you. Suddenly, something catches your eye. A distant shape. A sail. Then another. And another. You raise the alarm. The captain studies them through his spyglass. His expression hardens immediately. Not merchants. Warships. Royal Navy. The words spread across the ship like wildfire. Royal Navy. Every pirate understands what those words mean. Merchant captains may surrender. Naval captains hunt. And if captured, pirates rarely receive mercy. The punishment for piracy is clear. Hanging. The captain reacts instantly. Orders fly across the deck. Sails are adjusted. Course changes. The Raven turns away. The chase begins. For hours the wind decides everything. The pirate vessel is fast, but the naval ships are determined. You watch them growing larger, slowly, steadily. relentlessly. No one jokes anymore. No one sings. The atmosphere becomes tense, focused, silent. The reality of piracy reveals itself once again. Freedom exists, but so does consequence. Toward evening, the wind strengthens. Dark clouds gather across the horizon. The sea changes color. Blue becomes gray. Gray becomes black. A storm is approaching. Most sailors fear storms. Today, however, the crew welcomes it. The captain smiles. For the first time all day, the storm may save them. As darkness falls, rain begins, then wind, then chaos. The ocean transforms into a living monster. Massive waves rise from the darkness. The ship climbs one mountain of water only to plunge into another valley moments later. Thunder shakes the sky. Lightning flashes across distant clouds. The raven groans beneath the strain. You cling desperately to a rope. Seawater crashes across the deck. Men shout against the wind. Orders become nearly impossible to hear. Yet somehow the ship continues. The captain remains at the helm. The crew trusts him completely. In moments like these, leadership matters. Experience matters. Courage matters. The storm grows worse, far worse. One enormous wave crashes across the bow. A sailor disappears, gone, vanished into darkness. Several crewmen rush forward, but it is too late. The ocean has claimed him. No speech follows, no ceremony, only silence. Because every sailor understands. The sea gives, the sea takes. Tonight it has taken one of their own. Hours pass. The storm rages without mercy. You lose all sense of time. Only survival matters. Then gradually, very gradually, the wind weakens. The rain lessens. The waves shrink. Dawn approaches. Gray light spreads across the horizon. The storm finally releases its grip. Exhausted sailors emerge from every corner of the ship, faces pale, bodies aching, clothing soaked, but alive. Most importantly, the naval ships are gone, lost somewhere within the storm. The crew has escaped. Cheers erupt, not loud, not joyful, relieved, thankful. The storm saved them, at a cost. The sailor lost during the night remains absent. His empty hammock hangs silently below deck. A reminder that nature remains the greatest power on earth. The following days are spent repairing damage. Broken ropes, torn sails, cracked timber. Every man works. Every hand is needed. As you labor beside your shipmates, you notice something important. Nobody complains. Nobody avoids responsibility. The pirate code is more than words. It is survival. Every sailor depends upon every other sailor. One man's laziness can sink an entire ship. One man's courage can save dozens. That understanding creates a powerful bond. Weeks later, the Raven reaches a hidden anchorage, a quiet island rarely visited by outsiders. Fresh water flows from a nearby stream. Fruit grows among dense trees. Wild goats roam the hills. The crew establishes a temporary camp. For several days, life feels peaceful, almost normal. You hunt goats with several companions. You gather fruit. You repair equipment. At night, fires glow along the beach. Stories fill the darkness. For a brief moment, piracy seems almost pleasant. Then a small vessel arrives, a messenger ship. Its captain brings news. Bad news. Very bad news. The British government has increased rewards for captured pirates. Pirate hunters now patrol major routes. Several famous captains have already been captured. Others have disappeared. The room falls silent as the news spreads. Everyone understands the implications. The world is changing. Rapidly. Dangerously. One evening, while sitting beside a beach fire, you speak with Briggs again. The old sailor stares thoughtfully into the flames. "You know what the funny thing is?" he asks. You shake your head. He smiles sadly. "Most people think pirates fear death." He tosses a piece of driftwood into the fire. "But we think about it every day." The flames crackle softly. "We just decided freedom was worth the risk." His words stay with you long after the conversation ends, because they feel true. You remember the merchant ship, the beatings, the endless labor, the stolen wages, the hopeless future. You remember why you stepped across that railing months ago, why you chose this life, why so many others made the same choice. Not because piracy was easy, not because it was safe, because it offered something rare: control, choice, dignity, even if only temporarily. Eventually repairs finish. Supplies are loaded. The camp disappears. The crew returns aboard the Raven. The anchor rises. The sails fill. The island slowly fades behind you. Another voyage begins. Yet something feels different now. The carefree optimism of earlier months has faded. Experience has replaced innocence. You have seen storms. You have seen death. You have seen how quickly fortunes change. You understand piracy far better than before. The legends tell stories of endless adventure. The reality is more complicated, more dangerous, more human. Ahead lies an uncertain future. The seas remain vast. The opportunities remain tempting. But the noose of civilization grows tighter each year. Soon, every pirate will face a final choice: fight, surrender, or disappear. And for the Raven, that moment is approaching faster than anyone realizes. The greatest challenge of your life waits beyond the horizon, a challenge that will determine the fate of every man aboard. But that story belongs to the final chapter. For now, listen to the waves. Feel the ship gently rocking beneath your feet. Watch the stars above the dark Atlantic, and allow yourself to drift peacefully toward sleep. The Golden Age of Piracy is beginning to fade. Across the Atlantic world, governments have finally turned their full attention toward the sea. Warships patrol shipping lanes. Pirate hunters search hidden coves. Governors offer pardons to those willing to surrender. The world is changing, and aboard the Raven, every man can feel it. Weeks have passed since leaving the island refuge. The ship sails cautiously. The crew avoids unnecessary risks. Every distant sail is carefully studied. Every unfamiliar coastline is approached with suspicion. The carefree confidence of earlier voyages has disappeared. Experience has replaced excitement. Wisdom has replaced arrogance. One cool evening, the captain calls the entire crew together. The setting sun paints the ocean gold. Dozens of pirates gather silently. The captain stands near the main mast. For several moments he says nothing. Then he begins. "Men," his voice carries across the deck. "We've had good years." Nods spread through the crowd. "We've earned fortunes." More nods. "We've survived storms." The crew remains silent. "We've buried friends." Now nobody moves. The captain pauses. Then he speaks the truth everyone already knows. The sea is changing. No one argues. No one needs convincing. The evidence is everywhere. The captain continues. There are pardons being offered. A murmur spreads through the crew. Some men look surprised, others thoughtful. A few look angry. The offer is simple. Any pirate willing to surrender and swear loyalty to the crown may receive forgiveness. No hanging, no prison, a chance to begin again. The idea divides the crew immediately. Some men are tired of running, tired of hiding, tired of living one battle away from death. Others refuse to consider surrender. Freedom once tasted is difficult to abandon. For hours the debate continues. Arguments rise and fall. Voices grow louder, then quieter. And finally, the crew votes. The democratic tradition remains. Every man receives a voice. Every man receives a choice. The result is close, very close. But the decision is made. The Raven will make one final voyage, one last expedition, one last chance to earn enough wealth before deciding the future. The decision feels right, at least for now. The following weeks pass quietly. Trade routes remain busy. Merchant ships continue crossing the Caribbean. Fortunes continue moving across the sea. The temptation remains impossible to ignore. Then one morning the lookout spots a vessel, a large vessel, heavy, slow, loaded, the perfect target. Excitement returns immediately. The chase begins. Hour after hour the Raven gains ground. The merchant ship attempts escape, but it cannot outrun the faster pirate vessel. Eventually surrender comes. No battle, no bloodshed, only another successful capture. The cargo proves valuable, extremely valuable, perhaps the richest prize in months. The crew celebrates cautiously. Everyone senses this may truly be the last great success. Yet fate rarely follows human plans. 3 days later everything changes. The lookout spots another ship, then another, then another. Warships. Not one, 3. Royal Navy vessels, closing fast. The situation is immediately clear. This is no coincidence. Someone informed the authorities. Someone revealed pirate movements. A trap has been sprung. The captain acts instantly. The Raven turns hard toward open water. The chase begins. Again. But this time feels different. The naval ships are larger, faster, closer. Hour after hour they pursue relentlessly. The distance shrinks. Cannons become visible. Flags become clear. Escape seems increasingly unlikely. The crew works desperately. Every sail is adjusted. Every rope is pulled. Every ounce of speed is demanded from the ship. Night falls. The pursuit continues. Day returns. Still they follow. Then disaster strikes. A loud crack echoes across the deck. One of the main spars breaks. The sail collapses. The Raven slows. Not dramatically, but enough. Enough for the hunters. The naval ships begin gaining rapidly. For the first time since joining the pirates, you see genuine fear among the crew. Not panic. Not hysteria. Fear. Quiet. Honest fear. Because everyone knows what capture means. The captain gathers the crew. His expression remains calm, almost peaceful. We still have choices. The words surprise many. Choices? Facing 3 warships? Yet he is correct. There are always choices. Fight. Run. Surrender. The crew debates. Votes are taken. Opinions shared. The process remains democratic until the very end. Finally, a decision emerges. The majority chooses surrender, not from cowardice, not from weakness, from practicality. The war is over. The age is ending. Most have earned enough wealth to start new lives. Most are tired of risking everything. The black flag is lowered, slowly, silently. For a moment nobody speaks. The symbol that once represented freedom now disappears from the mast. The sight feels strangely emotional. A chapter closing, a world ending. The naval ships approach cautiously. Cannons remain ready. Soldiers stand prepared. Yet no battle occurs. No blood is spilled. The surrender is accepted. Days later, after questioning and negotiations, much of the crew receives the promised pardon. Some choose farming. Others become fishermen. A few return to merchant sailing. Several disappear into distant colonies. The brotherhood scatters across the world, never again assembled in the same way. As for you, you find yourself standing on a quiet shoreline months later. No ship beneath your feet. No salt spray on your face. No watch bell marking the hours. only stillness, a small piece of land, a modest home, and enough money to build a future. Sometimes you miss the sea, the excitement, the freedom, the endless horizon, the brotherhood, the songs, the stories, the adventures. Other times you remember the storms, the hunger, the fear, the funerals, the constant uncertainty, and you understand something important. The legends were never entirely true. Pirates were not romantic heroes, nor were they simply villains. They were people, ordinary people, sailors, workers, runaways, dreamers, men searching for freedom in a harsh world. Some found fortune, many found graves, most found something in between. As years pass, stories grow. Tales become exaggerated, songs become legends, facts become myths. Children hear stories about buried treasure, walking the plank, secret maps, lost islands. And while those legends spread across centuries, the reality slowly fades. But you remember what life was truly like. The cramped hammocks, the endless maintenance, the democratic votes, the smell of tar and salt, the creaking timbers, the shared meals, the fear of storms, the hope of opportunity, the quiet understanding that every sunrise might be your last. And perhaps that is why the stories endure, because deep down, they are not really about pirates. They are about freedom, choice, risk, adventure, and the universal human desire to live life on one's own terms. The sea stretches before you one final time. Golden sunlight dances across gentle waves. Seabirds circle overhead. A warm breeze carries the familiar scent of salt. You close your eyes and listen. Far away, almost imagined, you hear it. The distant creak of wooden timbers, the flutter of canvas sails, the echo of sailors singing together beneath the stars, the sounds of a vanished world, a world that existed only briefly, yet left an unforgettable mark on history. And as the sun slowly sinks beyond the horizon, the age of pirates sails quietly into legend. Thank you for joining this journey. Sleep well, and may calm seas always find you. The End.